Hello and welcome to another episode of Family Circles Show, where we discuss everything family. My name once again is Shirley Murphy, and I am so excited to be back with you on this amazing conversations that we'll be having today. And as always, I have with me my beautiful queen, Miss Keziah Tomasi. She is my co-host. Thank you, sis, for coming in. We appreciate you for being here with us. So, and of course, together we'll dive deeper into the heart of what really matters, which is family. So join us on live discussions, interviews, and interactive sessions that provide valuable insight and practical tips to strengthening family bonds. Make sure you gather your loved ones, grab your seats, get your favorite snack, and join us as we bring family time right to your home. And also, this episode promises to be one that you will learn, laugh, cry, and of course, celebrate the beauty of family time. And today, we have a very interesting conversation. In fact, I know there's gonna be a lot of juicy nuggets that you're gonna get from this conversation today because of the guest that we have. She's gonna do the needful on this topic. So just hang in there and let's introduce our guest, Keziah.
Thank you very much, my co-host. I'm super excited today because there's so much to learn, so much. So let's dive into why we are here. Madam Claudia Newby-Tynes as the entrepreneur behind Writes for You. She is an international best-selling author, teacher, preacher, and a mentor. She answered yes to the call of God to ministry. She's passionate about fulfilling her call and purpose as the daughter of the King. Her greatest joy comes in doing kingdom business for her Abba Father. Claudia travels and presents in person and virtually at conferences, workshops, and book signings. She shares her literary works via television, radio, podcast, social media, and blogs interviews. She has penned 4 books, collaborated on 3 book projects, freelanced over 225 plus published clips online and imprint media. Claudia and her family live in Smithfield, Virginia. She and her husband, James, celebrated 53 years of marriage on February 27th this year. They have 1 adult son, Rodney. Claudia and James are members of Soteria Life Center under leadership and pastors of Pastors Perry and Dr. Belinda Moss. Pleasure is mine to introduce to you our awesome guest, Claudia. Back to you, my co-MC.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, Madam Claudia, it's good to have you on the show with us. So very quickly, I know there's something Keziah mentioned about you when she was talking about, your journey a bit, but we want you to, I often say, let's hear from the horse's mouth. So we need you to help us, tell us a bit more about yourself, particularly your love journey, because, love is a beautiful thing. And I love it when I see lovely couple that stay this long.
Yeah.
Over to you, Claudia.
Thank you. Thank you so much to my wonderful host and co-host. This really has been a journey, a real journey. if first of all, I am Claudia Newby Tynes. I love the Lord, and you're gonna find out through my journey, I did not always love the Lord, even though I was married, and how God made the difference in our marriage. And she read the Bible, so I don't really have to go through that and say a lot. But marriage entails so much, and we shared the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, because marriage is hard work. And I will never tell nobody marriage is easy. If they told you that, they lied to you. But marriage is hard work, but marriage is doable if you want it to be. And I also say that your marriage is worth fighting for. I don't care what struggles you have, your marriage is always worth fighting for. And that fight entails a lot of things. I don't mean physically, I mean spiritually. Okay, so that's that intro on that part.
Awesome,
Beautiful.
awesome. Wow. I've heard you say marriage is doable. And again, marriage is worth fighting for. And
Yes.
of course, I understand you're not talking about physical fights now. So please, viewers, she's not talking about physical fights, so don't take it the wrong way. Marriage is worth fighting for spiritually, emotionally, every other area that would make you, be together. And I want to ask you this. You have been with your husband, you have been in marriage for 53 years. In fact, I can't scream enough, because you know why? Because these days we often do not get to see marriages last so long, and that's why I had to, like when I saw your bio, I was like, oh wow, this is a long journey. So how have you been able to manage your differences in the past years? Because I just have to bring that.
That's a great question. I'm going to start with, okay, we've been together for 58 years as a single couple. We were married 53 years this past February. So our journey starts in high school, 9th and 10th graders, meeting each other for the first time. And was it love at first sight? I thought it was. At that moment, I really did think, this was love at first sight. He thought it was too. And so in a matter of, I guess, probably a month or two, we were a couple. And we were like two peas in a pod. You saw one, you saw the other. Okay. So five years. Okay, we graduated from high school. Then we moved to DC, Washington, DC. And 2 years later, we were still so much in love, okay? And so we moved to Washington and we got married in 1971. Okay, we started, had a one and only son, Rodney, that was in 73. But we had the time of our life. It was like party hardy, loved hard, because that's what we knew, right? And we're also gonna have a book coming out on this later on, maybe end of the year, first of next year. But anyway, we just, there was just him and I until and we got married in 1971. Like I said, we had Rodney. And things started to change because, his lifestyle was, hey, nothing's going to hold me back. But as a mother, you have a child, and I couldn't run and do what I did with him like we did before. But so he stayed out there for another 5 years. And during my period of being a really young mother, because we got married he was 21 and I was 22.
Wow.
So he went his way for 5 years, and then that was the time for me. It was like spiritually, I knew something was missing. And I was like, I want what the missing part is. And I knew that was the Lord. Okay. We were brought up in the church as children, but we strayed away because I remember telling my sister and telling all my friends, you know what? If I leave home, I am never ever gonna step foot in nobody's church again. And I did that for 10 years. But boy, was that miserable. And so 1980, I'm gonna go back to 1980. And y'all can cut me off if you need to. In 1980, I went to we had partied all night that night. And my sister invited me to her church. It was a Mother's Day, May in 1980, Mother's Day program she really wanted me to come to. And I agreed. I don't know why, but I agreed to come with her. You know, one of them all-nighters we had pulled, and here I am going to go to church that morning. And I remember the pastor there preaching a message on burn, baby, burn. He was preaching a hell message, on, hell. And I don't know how to this day, I think about that, how I ended up on that altar. I don't remember walking down that altar to get on that altar, but I remember I rededicated my life back to the Lord that day. And from 1980 to 1985, it was my journey of just me and my son on, walking the spiritual journey. My husband's still hanging out there, but the whole time I'm praying for him, and I'm praying from Lord, I know you gonna bring him in. And I'll be like, we went to this church as just me and my son, but I said, you know what, Lord? I said, I want you to bring us in as a family, because he was talking to me, the Lord was talking to me then about moving to another church, because I knew there was something more, but I didn't know what the something more was. And the something more was I needed some serious deliverance, and I needed to be filled with the Holy Ghost. That was the something more. So I said, well, Lord, if this is really you, I said, you move us there as a family. And sure enough, September of 1985, that prayer was answered. So he just moved all three of us as a family. And so that started the spiritual journey. And I'm going to stop right there just in case you want to have something to say. Should I continue?
Precisely. I think you've taken us on a tour, and we are so excited. But talking about being in love with the same person again and again, with your experiences, what will you say reignites your love on the journey? Are you just in, or it is fueled by love? And what ignites this love?
Okay. I'm going to talk about the loves, because there's 3 types I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to tell you how it intertwined with us. Okay. There's an eros love, which is that romantic love. Okay. There's a filial love, which is that brotherly love. And then there's agape love, which is that godly love. So before Christ, we had that eros love down pat. I mean, we knew we were in love, and like I said, nothing could separate us. A lot of things tried, but nothing separated us. Okay. When we got married was when the fight started. While we were out there, it was like hunky-dory. Everything just went as planned. But the tug of war, when one is out here in the field and one is in the house, that tug of war started. But like I said, your marriage is so worth fighting for. And it's fighting in your prayer room. It's fighting on your knees. And it's still like, you can't, you don't say the love is the same, but we change partners. That's what I'll say. Satan was our partner in the world, but when we partner with the Lord, it was like, wow, I felt like I had a new husband. When he came in and we started getting in our word, and we started fellowshipping together in the church as a family. It made all the difference in the world. Not saying that things were easy. No, still wasn't easy. I know we had the spats, the fights, not the knockdown dragouts, but we fought because we knew the enemy was attacking us, that the enemy was trying to separate us. And one thing I had made up in my mind years ago, and this would be before I even thought about marriage, I said, that big D word, divorce, will never ever happen, occur in our marriage. You know, we may think about it, and I always laugh sometimes. And so when we have our little spats, he said, "Well, I'm going in the other room. I'm gonna go over there and sleep." I said, "I don't know why you're gonna go over there, because you know I'm gonna march right behind you and come on in and get to bed with you." So it's just things like that. We knew, we saw the hand of the enemy working, but we refused. Some days I had to get in my car, go down the road, cried out, talk to the Lord. It's just some days were, the better days we had were more than the not so better days, let's put it that way. But like I'm saying, through God and His Word, we just continue to just stay together and love on each other and give that devil so many black eyes. Every time he counted us out, we came back with that punch. It's like, oh no, not today, devil. You're messing with the wrong people today. And I can say to this day, because of that, just that tug of war, our marriage today, after 53 years, is the best it has ever been. Because again, we see the warning signs. We know when to act, and we know when to react and not react in certain situations. Okay. And God is right there in the midst. They say a threefold cord is not easily broken. You keep that threefold cord, God in the center of it all. No, you're only going to leave each other because you want to, and neither of us wanted to. So that's why we stayed meshed together as a couple, as a married couple, because we knew that was God's covenant. And years ago, God had shown us that we were going to be an example for kingdom marriages. And when He tells you something like that, many years ago, and you don't see that evidence, it's like, really? But as time went on, and like I would say in the last couple of years, I can say, yeah, I can see that now. I can see us, instructing other couples, to tell them, don't throw the towel in, no, go full speed ahead with God, because He has plans for your life. He knows what He's doing. It's His covenant. He instituted marriage, the covenant of marriage. So we are just here for the long haul. And we always say we like to see ourselves so we get 90 and 95. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna be still riding my bike. I said, yeah, we probably have to get a three-wheeler, but we're gonna be still riding our bikes, and that's what we do. We do a lot of things together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me play the devil's advocate here because of the work I do. As a psychosocial counselor and a person in ministry myself, I see so much, I hear so much. Many a time you see people in ministry and they are role models to other people, but they don't really enjoy systematic marriage. You see them building ministry together outside. It might not be you, but what would be your word to other people? Because a lot of people put out that public facade of a successful relationship, but they get into their homes and there is no unity. Spiritually, they are checked out. Emotionally, they are checked out. You see them on the pulpit smiling, saying good things about one and each other on the microphone, and yet for a whole year straight, they haven't had sex. Emotionally, they are checked out, but divorce is equally not their portion too. So they are just there, and we are clapping for them. What advice will you give to such a couple?
Well, you know what? If anybody who knows us know we're the same everywhere. I mean, I had someone to tell me one time, and this was a person that was in the church, and they said, we see y'all all smiling and lovey-dovey. He says, but is that fake or is that phony? And I said, you know what you see outside is the same thing that happens inside our home, because we do that. We joke and we kid and we love on each other. And a lot of times this is funny, but he'd be chasing me and I'd be running. And one lady told me, she said, you better stop running. It's gonna come one day he ain't gonna want to chase you no more. And I said, and so you just learn each other's love language. I always say I like the touch part of it. I like touching, and I love back rubs. He knows that. And so find your mate's hot spots. That's what I call them, and work them. And so that's what we do, right? Even here, one day, he and I, we love to cook. He loves to cook more than I do. So I always tell him we cook it up love in the kitchen, because people think, that the intimacy and the sex starts in the bed, but it does not. I mean, we be cooking together in the kitchen, and he be, going to town. And that one day I came in there singing a song to him. He just dancing to the song and cooking all at the same time. So it's learning those things, learning your partner's husband or wife love language, and stroke it and stroke it, stroke it. And sometimes, I'm gonna put it this way, even though it can be one-sided, one day he's feeling it, or one day I'm feeling it, and one day I'm not feeling it. But we still learn to work that out, to respect each other's boundaries. And so that's what we do. We set boundaries, say, like, okay, baby, no, I'm not feeling this today. So, just kind of back off, and so you just respect where they are, and don't make such huge demands on each other. So, we're real, we're genuine, and God is awesome, because we could not do it without him. Definitely can't.
Wow. Whew, this has been interesting episode for me, learning, about how you and your husband have, transitioned over the years successfully. And I love the part when you talked about partnering with God to make this work.
Mhm.
As Christians, we understand that God is the one that instituted marriage. And even as young as I am, and of course in marriage, I have daily, journeyed, through, all these years with God, and it has actually worked out. So, and now we have, is it that, like the question that Keziah asked earlier, is it that couples out there that are not finding it easy to move along, to get things out, to actually enjoy marriage? Because marriage is to be enjoyed. It's not to be managed. It's not to, just stay there and say, everybody is just in there, let me just remain there. And while you're not happy. You've actually talked about certain things, that, you have been doing in your marriage that has kept you going. But aside from yourself, what would you say that couples need to do differently in order for them to live through successfully, even before they go into marriage or as they go into marriage? What how will I put it now? Are the little things that they need to do or pay attention to? Like last week, we talked about intentionally investing in your love life. And it was, another, topic on its own, with a lot of nuggets that people, could go home with. So what can couples do intentionally to ensure that they succeed in marriage? Because I know that divorce is trending over the last, decades. It has been, like everybody's looking at, oh, if you're not doing well, let's just go. But that is not what God wants for our marriages. What do couples need to do differently or intentionally, for them to be able to stay together for long?
The one of the very first things I would say is they need to communicate to each other. They need to talk to each other. I don't care how raw it is, talk and communicate, because I can't read his mind and he can't read my mind. And if I want something done, I just can't look at him and think, don't you see I need this, I need this done, or just, my actions and my tone just, it's not good. It's talk it out and and just get everything out in the open. I don't feel like this is working for us. Be honest, be people of integrity and walk in that. Be approachable. When things don't go well, just don't snatch away from one another. Just be approachable and sit down and be calm. And again, I always say to invite God in the conversation. Please invite him in the conversation before you even talk to each other. Because I'm more of a prayer warrior than my husband. My husband has his own way of his spirituality, and I don't know. For one thing, I find out is, as women, and I'm gonna speak for myself, but as women, we expect too much of our husbands. And then the husband that says, well, I'm the head of the house. Well, we know that. Okay. We know that you're the priest of the home. And you don't have to always hold that over your wife's head. Don't be controlling and, give her space to do what she wants to do. And you give him space to do what he wants to do. And then you come together as a happy medium. And you can share your experiences with each other. And what else am I saying? Make sure you get plenty of rest. Rest has a lot to do with it. When you're irritable, nothing goes well, nothing. So I'm gonna say rest is worship, rest is spiritual. So just get plenty of rest, sleep, and just rest and wait on the Lord for certain things to happen, because we can't make anything happen in our marriages, but we can certainly, ask God and wait on his timing. If we're not willing to wait on God's timing, then you know what? It's a lot of marriage just gonna go bye-bye, because no one is willing to wait on God. And when the blessing is in the waiting. And that's basically some of the, practical and spiritual principles I can give them right now is, to get beyond that stage, of being disgruntled or discouraged, just trust God for your marriage. If he joined you together, guess what? You're going to stay together. You're going to want to stay together. And I've heard instances of people that, they did. They separated, they got divorces, but guess what? When they came to themselves, God rejoined them. And so, God wants to do those things, and he wants to perform miracles in our marriages, but we have to allow him to. It's our own wills that plays a very important part in all of this. You either will to want him to do it, or you just like, oh no, Lord, I'm out of here, forget it. So it's up to both individuals. Absolutely. As to how to handle that.
Absolutely. Wow. So, and I want to know, in the course of your being together for 53, 58 years. Has there ever been a time where you tried to change each other's character, behavior? One, like in some marriages, the husband will be like, I want to change, this about my wife. Or the wife will like, I want to change this about my husband. Is it possible to actually change somebody? Like, I want to know in the course of being together, has there been a process or a time where you try to change each other and it actually worked?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we done been there many times. Okay, like I was saying, I didn't like what I saw, and changing again, trying to change somebody is controlling them again. And so I remember, like I said before he came in, or right in after he came in, and even sometimes I can think now, just let him be who he is. Because I remember when I tried to change my husband, you know what God told me? You change. Leave him alone. You change. When you change, he will change. So that was a hard lesson for me to learn. But I learned, be who God called me to be as a wife. And another thing, spiritual wise or preacher wise or minister wise, no, we have a tendency. Okay, I'm talking about me as well. We have a tendency to withhold things from our husbands when they don't do what we want to do. And so I call that's witchcraft, and that's controlling, because we're not ministers to our husbands. We are ministered to the people God called us to do. God called us to love that man or that woman, no matter what. Okay, so no, we can't change. I can't even change myself. God has to change me.
We have a question because Claudia just said something, but let me allow Keziah because I can see her face. You want to ask?
You hit it right on the nail. I see people struggling because they want to change their partners. And I'm like, honey, you can't change anybody.
No.
Until a person comes to the awareness that I need to change, you can't change anybody. And many people are struggling just because they want to change. But many a time, if you change, sometimes even if the partners don't change, because your paradigms have changed now, you'll be able to enjoy them regardless. So the work begins with us, that we don't want to hear that. We are only pointing fingers at our partners, seeing all the wrongs with them, and God is looking at the wrongs with us. That was so powerful.
Absolutely.
So powerful. Yeah, so a quick one. Has there been a time that you got so bored with your husband that you were just bored? And what did you do in those times?
Okay, repeat that.
Were there moments that you got so bored with your husband? And what did you do in those times?
I can't use the word bored because he's not a boring person.
Okay.
But he annoys me at times. If that makes sense. Yeah, he annoys me, and I know I annoy him. And he told me I'm a chatterbox.
Did you say annoy?
Annoying.
I had adore. That's why I said praise the Lord. No.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so when we first met, he was the talkative person, and I was the quiet person. But in our marriage, all those roles changed. Now I'm so chatty. I'm like this, and he's quiet, and he be telling me, and he shush me all the time. I said, stop shushing me, So it's things like that we have changed roles in our marriage. Okay, but no, I wouldn't say boredom, but annoying, yes. And I'm going to share this one transparent moment. We was in a really, let me say, intense fellowship one time, and I was so angry with him. I went outside, got in my car, drove down the road, tears flying, talking to the Lord on the phone. Lord, you need to do this to him, and you need to do that for him. And I'm looking for God to come back and give me such deep revelation. Because I sure thought that's what he was going to do. And you know what God told me? What about, I said, don't judge me, people out there in the audience or whoever, but there's a secular song out there, and you all may not know it because of age-wise, but I'm going to date myself. It was Jeffrey Osborne, Love Ballad. And that was our love song. Okay, well, we want to dance and you know, just do whatever we want to do. God put that on my heart. Then you go back home. Go right back home. Put that song on and play it to your husband. And I was like, oh Lord, you have got to be kidding. But you know what? I obeyed. I obeyed him. So I did. I went on back home, found the song, and played it in his ear, and whoa, it worked.
Wow.
It worked. So I'm saying we're always looking for deep spiritual revelations. And just be obedient. When I was obedient to what God told me to do, I'm like, wow, it worked. So that was just one moment I can remember of. Yeah.
Beautiful. Madam Shelley?
Wow. You know, I just hope viewers out there, married couples, you can, you know, learn from what Mrs. Claudia has shared with us. It doesn't really matter where you are coming from, because of course, each and every one of us, we didn't grow up from the same home. We didn't grow, we are not groomed by the same parents. So we are different. So irrespective of what background you come out from, in as much as you have been joined together, the third person that you need, the only third person, the third party you need in your marriage is God. Because he is the one that builds homes. He's the one that's, you know, lays the foundation of marriage. And he's the only one that can lay it right. He's the only one that can lead you right. With all that our guest has mentioned today, the success in their marriage for the past 53 years has been as a result of the fact that they have depended on God. And she rightly talked about obedience. It is very key. And of course, obedience is not only in your marriage, in every area of our lives. If you must succeed in life and in everything that you do, obedience to God's words is very important. So you don't get to fall into a pit that is in front of you that you don't know. So, Madam Claudia, we'll be taking the show, you know, almost to a close. But I want you to share one more thing with us. In your experience for the past years, what would you say to the young couples out there, especially the ones that really do not know how to decide? Because I sometimes I think that indecision, you know, with some couples also contributes to making their marriages not stand out the way it's supposed, like indecision in terms of who they should be with, how they should structure their home, and all of that. What would be your advice to young couples out there, so they could be able to, you know, lay, at least from the foundation, lay a good foundation, you know, in their homes, and be able to, you know, build it from there?
Okay, for the young couples or the young at heart, this is probably what I would say is cherish your marriage vows. They are so important. You know, we are so quick to leave when something doesn't go the way we want. But when you go back, my husband did this. We were doing a session one time, and he told this couple, it was a couple, and he told them, cherish your marriage vows. And I said, that is so true, because we're not going to always have good times and bad times. They don't last always, but when they're coming, cherish the vows that you made, to each other. There's a saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. A lot of things gonna come our way, and we're not gonna have things our way, but stand your ground, stay in the position as the wife and the husband. Trust God for the whole process, one day at a time. Don't try to look down the years, down the road, because if you look down the road, that's a disaster. So from one day to the next, trust Him for that day. God, how can I make this work? You put it, especially if the couple know it was God that put them together. Now, some people, they just do their own thing. They get married for just the sake of getting married. But I'm actually speaking to those that know God put them together. Okay. And that, like it says, and that no man put asunder. So when you really truly know that you are put together, that God did that, then you're trying to please God. And when you please God, you will please your man or your woman, your wife or your husband. Pleasing God first, and then the pleasure goes to both couples. I guess.
Please.
Do I need to elaborate? Do I need to elaborate
No.
a little more?
Please God first in your
Yes.
marriage, and He will please your home. He will please your marriage. He will please everything that have to do with your life. I think that's it. We just have to find a place to let God sit there.
Yes.
Give God the space, and don't try to do it all by yourself, because I think what we often try to do, not only in our marriages, even in our lives, is trying to do it by ourselves, trying to do it depending on our efforts, on our intelligence, on who we know, on what we have learned or what we read in a book, forgetting that all of those things do not matter if you do not cling and completely, surrender to the one that is able to make it work, beyond your imagination, that will make your life a spectacle of His glory. So, Keziah, do you have a question for Madam Claudia?
Precisely. Hi, ma'am. What's your favorite food? And do you know how to cook it?
Favorite food? I don't think I even have a favorite food. Okay. Because I have actually changed my lifestyle in eating. And we both have changed our lifestyles in eating. And like I said, they say cooking with love in the kitchen. That's what we're doing. We're just finding healthy recipes here lately. And I can't even think of a favorite food. I really can't. I don't think I have any.
Okay.
I eat a lot of things, but I can't say that they're my favorite.
Great. So healthy lifestyle, healthy eating is your style. And I love that.
We're trying. We're definitely trying. Yes.
Right. And I love that.
All right. Okay, so I think we'll be rounding up, because Madam Claudia has shared, a whole lot of interesting nuggets with us. So one more time, Claudia, before we let you go, what will be your final words of wisdom?
Okay. And I just thought, it just dropped in my spirit, is What happens in your house, let it stay in your house. You know, don't allow, if you have girlfriends or boyfriends, you know, when I say not, you know, just friends outside of your marriage, keep what's happening inside your marriage, your business, not theirs. Okay. Even down to your in-laws and your mothers. Don't ever allow what happens inside your house get outside your house, because once you and your husband has you know, restored what was happening, they gonna remember everything you told them. So no, keep your marriage between, and if you need to talk to somebody, vent to God. That's where I said, vent to God about it, because he already see it, he already knows. But by you know, by us verbalizing it, it helps when, you know, for us to hear what we're saying, processing what we're saying. And if you can't verbalize it orally, I say write it down, because I'm a journaler and I write everything down when I can't verbalize it, process it in my mind, and be as raw as you want to, because God don't care. You know, he knows it anyway. But like the most thing for the marriage, I would say, keep your business inside your house, your own house, and even don't allow your children to even hear what's going on, you know, as far as they know, you know, you all lovey-dovey, you know, but don't play your roles out in front of your children either, and don't play your children against each other, you know. So that's it. It's private. Be private, because when we are private, our rewards are shown openly.
Powerful. Hey, viewers and married couples out there, you have heard it all. Keep your marriage business private. Keep it private. That is the only way you can scare away, you know, some unnecessary noise, unnecessary voices that will come and chip in what will not serve you well. Keep your marriage private. I know it may be difficult for a lot of people because I have this best friend, I have this best this, I have this best that. At the end of the journey, when it goes down, the best friend, the best this, the best that will not be there, you know, to help you, you know, keep it cool. So keep your marriage private, and the only one you need, based on what Madam Claudia has shared with us, and of course, we also have tested, and we know that it is only God that could be the only partner you need to give you a successful marriage. For you to be able to be in love again and again and again with the same person for 100 years to come, you know, until death do you part, as they say. The only person you need to be with you in partnership for a successful journey is God. So key in and allow him the space to rock in your home. All right, I think that's all we can take in today's episode of the show. I will allow Keziah to give our final words, and then we'll close us out. And I think before then, Claudia, would you please tell us how people can contact you? And then we'll give the floor to Keziah. How can people contact you, ma'am?
Okay. And first of all, I just want to give thank you both for just being generous hosts, and you made it easy. So I do thank both of you for that. They can contact me through my website, claudiatynes.com. I'm on Facebook, Claudia Kingdom Communicator Tynes, or / Claudia Kingdom Communicator Tynes /scribe. And I'm also going to just share another Facebook page, Signs of the Times, TYNES. And this is an upcoming book that we are writing together as a married couple. Okay. And it's It's not a tell-all. It is not a tell-all, but it's gonna tell some things, okay? And it's about our journey of overcoming and becoming. So hopefully, we're gonna try to get it out by the end of the year or the first part of next year. So that's something we're looking for. We're writing it together, Signs of the
Right.
Times.
All right,
So-
look out for that.
And that's it. Okay, I'm on LinkedIn, Claudia Newby Times, and that's about it.
Thank you so much. All right,
Mhm.
Keziah, yeah. You're muted.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So much to learn. We have to watch and watch and watch this again. Viewers out there, that's all we can take in today's episode of the show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us. Like, share, and comment. We invite you to join us and to share your stories also. What does a successful relationship mean to you? Is it by longevity? How long did we married? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. Hooray. Is it just by longevity or by the quality of the relationship? You decide. If it's both, then know that just like Mama said, God would help us. But we have to arise and get to work. We can't just pride in longevity, whilst it's just the microaggression, the contempt, the indifference. No. Love is not supposed just to be endured. It's supposed to be enjoyed. So let's let our marriages glorify God. Much love and blessings till we come your way some other time. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Amen.